Hello everyone, welcome to my Blender video. Here I'm going to show you guys how to create and export a simple shape key animation, and so that way you can later import the different frames of your animation. So let's say you have a part of a character you're wanting to create. We're actually going to be later rigging for Second Life, but let's just say we have this block here, and that's our part, just for keep it simple stupid sake. And let's go ahead and create our shape key for this block. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to go into the shape keys. I'm going to add a basis, the first default shape key that is created. Now I'm going to pretend I'm adding a new shape key, and we'll just leave it as key 1. You can create multiple keys. You know, we're gonna just leave it at 1, but you can see you can keep clicking the plus and adding more shape keys. So you can create as many different keys as you'd like for whatever kind of movement you want in your character. So this would be just a simple mouth movement, or whatever you want. It could be a tail, a mouth, anything. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to create the shape key animation. Okay, so let's say you have a part you want to animate, a mouth, we'll say. We'll pretend this box is the mouth. And we're going to go into sculpt mode, or however you want to animate it. It could be a movement, anything. So with a shape key, first of all, you have to click this little pin. You have to click this thing in order to see what you're working on. And now you can see what you're working on. So we're just going to distort this guy a little bit. Actually a lot, so you can see it. Hopefully you can see what's going on here. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to go back to object mode, and if you take this pin off, you can see it reverts back to the original cube. Now we're gonna unpin that, go to basis. We're going to go click on this little box up here, go to animation, and we're going to go click on dope sheet, and we're going to change that to the shape key editor. Now this animation ends at 250 frames. We're just going to say we want 10 objects. The amount of frames is the amount of objects you're going to have exported. So remember that. So we're just going to export 10 frames, basically 10 objects. So we're going to change the animation to 10 frames. We are going to right-click this, insert keyframe, because we want it to start at the default values. So now we're going to, and that's our only key. If we had multiple keys, we'd have multiple things here. So we're going to go to frame 10, which is the last frame, the last object we're exporting. We're going to go all the way to 1. Change that to 1. And it automatically adds, if you notice, it'll automatically add in another wow, I totally just lost it. But yeah, there we go. You can see that it adds in another keyframe automatically for you. So as soon as you change it, it adds a keyframe. So that's great. So now we're done with our animation. If you want to play it, you can click down here and hold down Alt A, and you can see it'll play the animation, the shape key animation that this is what your object's going to look like when it's rendered in your 3D program like Second Life. This is what it's going to be doing in Second Life, basically. So we can hit escape to shut that off, go back to frame 1 just by clicking there, and now comes the fun part. All we have to do is go to File, Export, trying to remember how to do this, Wavefront, and we click animation down here. We go into our folder we want to export, we'll create a new folder here, new directory. We'll just label it test. We'll go into test, and we'll label this test box. Okay, now we have animation checked, and we are going to hit export object up here, this button. Okay, now it's exported, so you can actually save the scene if you want to, and you can save it test box animation 1. You know, if you want to save your setup for that shape key animation, so you can play around with it later if you want to. So now let's make a new file, and let's pretend this is our rig. Okay, we don't have a rig yet, but now we got to import this into our rig, so as different objects. So you can import them all into one. Yeah, why not? Let's try to import them all into one. You got different layers here. You can import them as separate layers, and that's really cool because then you get to show and hide each one that you're playing with. So it's really cool that way. But why not just import them all in the same layer? Because we're going to be exporting them all as one. What do you call it? STL file later, I believe it's or collada. Sorry, not STL. Collada. Working with too many different formats, guys. Okay, so import wavefront. We're gonna go to our folder. Sorry, test. Okay, now you can see it made 10 objects, right? So we can go ahead and let's see here. Yeah, click the first object, hold down your Alt key, and click the last object, and then just hit import OBJ, and it should, I would think it should import all of your objects. And it's not doing it. So you might have to import them individually, actually. Okay, let's try this one more time. Wavefront. We're just going to do one at a time. Huh. I'm going to pause the video and try to see what's going on here. Hold on one second. Okay guys, welcome back. I figured out the problem. When you go to import, you can only do one at a time, unfortunately. When you go to import, we got an MTL and an OBJ. So you want just the OBJs. Actually, let's try to do multiples here. Or let's just do, well heck, let's do them all. I'm holding down the shift key to do this, guys. See if they all get imported. No, they don't. Alright, so basically let's just import OBJ, wavefront, and then unless there's an easier way to do this, this is the way it's got to be done for now, unfortunately. So we'll just import number 1. Try this again. Am I on import? Yeah, I'm on import. Okay, we're going to import 2. I think I wrote over 1. Okay, there we go. So we'll pretend that's frame 1, even though it's not. We wrote over the frame 1, unfortunately. Okay, then we're going to do import again, and then import our next OBJ file. And you can actually put in a filter here, so you can just filter the OBJ files. Oops. Well, there's probably a way. Anyway, we're going to do number 2. And if we move this, oops. Okay, let's do this again. Because we did 2. Oops. I created a new directory. Okay, let's do 3. Alright. Now, we've got both objects, you can see. And let's do 4. Import wavefront 5. Import wavefront 6. Import wavefront 7. Import wavefront 8. Import wavefront 9. Import wavefront 10. Okay. Now, why don't we just show you how to do this into Second Life? So, basically what you're going to do is once you get all your meshes imported, your wavefronts imported, now you're going for your animation. Now you're going to want to export to, let's see here, Collada. Let's just do Collada, forget Avastar. And let's go ahead and export it as box, test box 1. And I checked this export for Second Life. I'm just going to hit export Collada. And we'll be right back when we're uploading. We'll get this uploaded to Second Life. We'll be right back. Alright, I'm now ready to upload it to Second Life. I'm on the OS grid. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. All you do is you upload your mesh model. Apparently if you're in Open Simulator you can't use physics, mesh physics, whatever that means. So I'm going to upload my mesh model. And it's going to upload all the objects. And let's see here. Just waiting for it. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we're now ready to upload the mesh model, so we're going to go ahead and upload that. Okay, here we go. So we've got our cube. We're going to res the cube out. And the first thing we're going to notice, if we hold down the Control-T key, we can see all the layers. First thing we want to do is script this thing. So let's go ahead and script this thing. Actually, I'm not sure if this is the right. Should be the new. Okay, here we go. So I don't know if it actually uploaded a new one or not, but basically this is the one that we're working on. So this is a script that I created, and basically all you have to do is use a script like this to animate your mesh, and excuse me, it doesn't have to be a touch start script. I mean, I just made mine touch start script, but it can be whatever you want it to be. So let's see here. What I did was I went through, I held down Control T. I basically set everything invisible. So if we go to this one that we uploaded, we could probably, yeah, we can put the transparency to 100%, and then you can see all, if you Control T, you can see all the layers. So you can navigate with your mouse through the different layers, and with Edit Linked selected, or checked I should say, you can actually find out what layer numbers you're working with. So first thing you want to do is find out all your layer numbers. So like here you can see, okay, there's that many different layers, and there's probably a script that can tell you the link numbers easier. You can probably even make it your own script to do that, to hide all the layer numbers and then just show the layer numbers as you type them on the keypad. So, I type in 5 and 5 shows up. And I type in 6 and then 6 shows up. But that's another script we'll get into another time. But basically, that would be a very handy script right now, because basically right now what we have to do is go through each individual layer by clicking on them, and you can see link number 3. You can find out all the link numbers that way. Here's 3, 2, 6. So you can see the layers aren't perfect. So what we do is we can make a script like this, and basically this is just using LL set link alpha. We're hiding everything, and then we're showing the first frame. We're sleeping for 0.1 with LL sleep. We're hiding everything again, and then we're showing just the next frame, sleeping for 0.1, and so on and so forth. Showing the next frame, hide everything, show next frame, sleep, hide everything, show next frame, sleep, hide everything, show next frame, sleep, hide everything, show next frame, until we get to the end of the frame. And I didn't like the final frame, so I just omitted the final frame because it was out of whack. It was way too off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to show you what I made here. So we're going to hold down Control T. Those will go away. We're going to click on the one, hopefully, one of these. There we go. So that's the animation, as you can see. And you can change the interval. You can make it go faster. Like, for instance, I could go into this and I could make them 0.05 if I want to make it really fast. I'm assuming that's going to be super fast. Because when I make an animation for like a character, I want them to be really lifelike. And the only way to do that is to make the animation smooth. And the only way to do that is to have a fast frame rate. And the only way to do that is to speed up the frames. So the animation has to speed up. So I'm going to attempt to show you a faster animation now. Hey, look at that. There we go. That's pretty awesome. So that's mesh animation. Now, if you wanted to make it, that's close to 30 frames, I would say. But if you really wanted to make it super fast, you could change these to 0.01. And let's check out 0.01 just before I go to bed here, guys. And this is, some people think you can't do this in Second Life, but this is proof you can. And next time I'll show you another trick that I learned about gestures and animations. Wow, that's too fast. You see that? If it's so fast you can't see the animation, you're way beyond 30 frames a second. That's a huge clue. So just to the point of where you can see it, that's about where you want to be. So we'll take this up to 3.03. I'm not sure if that's 30 frames a second, but probably not, using my imagination here. Let's see what this does, folks. This is fun. Let's make that go bye-bye. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. That's a little too fast. But that's really lifelike. But yeah, you get the picture. What I would do is I would leave all these things at 0.05, because 0.05 is the best in my opinion, maybe. Yeah, 0.05 is the best. So let's go back to 0.05 and take a look. Alright, 0.05. Oh, we had some lag there. Yep, that's 0.05 right there. So perfect. That is that for mesh animation. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial guide thingy I made. And yeah, enjoy. Have fun. Make some animated meshes, people. Catch y'all later.